Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I was trying to figure out what we were gonna watch because oh man, oh boy, are we having trouble with Arcane and copyright and daddy YouTube. I have seen other creators react to this show on YouTube. How are they doing that? We're trying to work it out because I really do want to keep watching the show, but it's being difficult. So today we are going to watch together one of Jubilee's middle ground episodes. It's called Have You Questioned Your Sexuality? Lesbians versus Straight Women Middle Ground. Usually middle ground is a series where they like pit two groups with opposing opinions against each other and ask them hard-hitting, read inflammatory questions, and they just like argue with each other, and it's really, I can't watch it. I find it uncomfortable. But this, I'm like, what could they possibly fight about, right? And for any of you who don't know me, hi, my name's Alayna Joy. I make videos on this channel mostly about the queer community, sex, dating, and relationships. I am a therapist in training, and a lot of the content that I do is around mental health, queerness, interviewing experts, but sometimes we react to fun internet content. And that's what we're doing today. We also watch a lot of queer reality TV, which I can only access using the sponsor of this week's content, Surfshark. Surfshark VPN is a virtual private network that both keeps your identity safe online by encrypting all of the information that passes between your computer and the internet, and it allows you to swap your location, change your IP address to essentially trick the internet into thinking that you are anywhere in the world. So I live in Canada, and in order to watch some of the best queer reality TV shows, like for example, I Kissed a Girl UK, I use Surfshark to change my IP address so that the internet thinks that I'm in the UK and allows me to unblock that content. So using Surfshark VPN, you're able to unlock thousands of different content libraries, streaming services worldwide, no matter where you live. This is also essential to remaining private online through masking your IP address, which makes sure that your city, country, and download history are not linked to your identity anywhere online. Plus, Surfshark's clean web feature allows you to block ads, malware, and phishing attempts, keeping you safe while you browse. So you can travel the world virtually by going to surfshark.com/Alayna or using code Alayna at checkout to get you 4 extra months of Surfshark VPN when you sign up. Okay, now it's time for some lesbians versus straight women content.
It's normal for straight women to feel some attraction towards women.
Ooh, like I'm gonna say yes. I'm also immediately realizing my bias because I am a queer woman, I'm a lesbian. I feel like, yes, it's normal for straight women to feel some attraction toward women. Do I think all straight women feel attraction to women? No. Do I think that you can be straight and feel attraction to women? Absolutely. Let me know in the comments as we go through this, let me know your initial reactions to these prompts.
Women are attractive. We are cute. We are hot. We're fiery.
Wait, did they all say yes?
I've actually been on maybe like 2 dates with women because women are attractive.
Okay,
and they're beautiful
Dia.
people.
So you can stop where you want, right? Like, I think there's the journey, and then for me it was like, no, I stopped at lesbian and I'm staying here. Yeah. So that's the word that I'm using.
Have you thought about women while masturbating?
Yes. Again, women are sexy. Even for me, and I'm a straight woman, I don't always like straight, can I say the P word on here? Porn. I don't necessarily like straight porn.
Okay, so I love this so far. I love that they're all agreeing that labels are personal and they are forms of identity, and that behavior doesn't necessarily equate to identity. So somebody going on a date with a man doesn't automatically mean that they're not a lesbian or like can't identify that way. And like this other woman is saying, she's straight, but yes, she feels attraction to women at times. That's okay too. These identity pieces, these labels that we have don't have to fit into some like strict box, which I think at this point we know, I'd like to think, but it's nice to see a group of differently identifying women all agreeing on that. And then to immediately have this woman normalizing enjoying lesbian porn or fantasizing about women, it doesn't even mean that you want to be with women. Fantasy, desire, behavior, these are three different things, and none of them have to mean anything about your sexual identity or sexual orientation.
It's that pleasure sensation that we're looking for that I don't always get when I'm watching men and women.
That actually makes sense because I was a late bloomer and I found out what porn was when I was 17. When I saw it, I was like, oh, sex is for the man. It never like clicked to me like, oh, you're supposed to also feel something. So I understand what you said when you mean that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, the woman in the purple is like just realizing this now.
I had a crush on a girl, but that was it really, just a crush. Other than that, I haven't really thought about getting intimate with women sexually or romantically.
Just, okay, listen. Okay. Everything I just said, I stand by it. Very important points. Fantasy, desire, behavior, these things don't necessarily mean anything about your sexuality. Your label is your own. You have the right to identify however you'd like. And also, like, kind of hilarious that the 3 straight women that they've chosen for this video have either dated women, masturbated to women, or had a crush on a woman. Are these the straightest women you could find? What are any of these people gonna fight about? They all love women.
Girly girl and tomboy are problematic terms.
Oh, okay. Girly girl and tomboy are problematic terms. I'm gonna say no. It would be the way that they're used that would make them problematic or not. The terms in and of themselves could be descriptors, and also there's lots of folks who love identifying with those terms or like self-describing as a girly girl or a tomboy. Maybe the issue comes in when those categories are used to minimize or other somebody. But I don't think the terms are inherently problematic. Maybe I'm wrong. What do you think in the comments?
I was just told, oh, Claire's just a tomboy. I mean, I was a dress-wearing girl. I had bike ramps in my front yard. I wanted to do all that stuff. And so, like, she's a tomboy. And that kind of fuzzied my queerness for me.
Well, I think
Right.
it's hard when you tell someone what they
What
are.
they are, yeah.
So that's the only thing that I'm like, that could be problematic because like you said, it fuzzied it for you. And that's why I think it could be problematic because you can't put someone in a certain place. They have to do it themselves.
I think if you're self-labeling, it's fine. But, like,
Yeah.
putting someone else
Agreed.
into it, not great.
Agreed. Preach, Claire, preach.
I have been confused by my sexual orientation.
I'm stepping forward.
I think like there was a time in my
Get me on that
life where
chair.
I was like, oh, boys are great. And then I got hurt, like a real hurt, where I was just like,
Okay. So all of the queer women came forward. Only one of the straight women has felt confused. And she's the one that's gone on dates with girls. So confused is an interesting choice of word. Questioning or reflecting on, inquiry into, isn't the same as confused. So let's see what her experience is.
I just haven't found a woman that, you know, makes me go, you know?
Do I like men because I like men or because I've grown up thinking
That's
I should?
because, yeah, because they gave us that dream that you're supposed to find that Prince Charming and you're supposed to fall in love and have these kids and it's supposed to be like this thing, so.
I would say the most confusing element of things for me was literally the sexual aspect of my sexual orientation because I was in a relationship with a man for like 7 years. And I learned over time that like the dynamic that we had when we had sex was the dynamic that I wanted, but I didn't want to be the me in it. Then I slowly
Whoa, hold on, whoa. What I'm taking from this is that, and I apologize, person in the video, if I'm not understanding you correctly. She's saying each person was playing their role, and let's just broadly say dominant and submissive. And as the woman, she was playing the woman, quote unquote, big air quotes, submissive role and liked this dynamic, but wanted to be playing the other role. That's interesting.
In my experience, I've only been with men sexually and on dates, so I just haven't had that experience myself. But if I were to, at any point, have those experiences with women, I wouldn't put a label in it.
The reason why I disagreed about being conflicted, there's some things I don't ever explain to other people. This is one of them. I don't explain to you who I take home. I don't explain to you what I do in my room. I don't explain any of that. I like women. I've been on dates with women. I've done what I do with women and men, but I'm not going to label myself.
So, okay, sorry. These are not straight women. Like, are they? They're identifying as straight, so that's great. I'm like doing these mental gymnastics to try to apply the same beliefs that I hold about queer sexuality and queer labels and the fluidity and flexibility that exists within those labels. I'm trying to apply that same belief system to straight women or women who are identifying as straight. And it's really tempting to just like make jokes about how they're obviously not, but that conflicts with how I actually feel. I think what I'm giggling at is that like these are the straight women that Jubilee has chosen to be the emblematic representation of straight women versus lesbians. Like this woman is basically now saying that she doesn't label her sexuality and who she sleeps with is none of your business, which fair and true, but also if you want to have a straight women versus lesbians, there's got to have been women who fall farther toward heterosexual on the Kinsey scale than these three.
I just always wanted to know this. Why is it so important that you are identified correctly and the need to come out?
Yep. I wasn't feeling the same way my friends were, and like when you get middle school, high school, college, I felt wrong. If labels are not important to you, I think it's a personal thing. But for me, finding people that were saying like, this is why I feel this way, I'm like, I felt that way too.
But imagine being in a closet. It's dark, it's lonely, like you don't have anyone to express your feelings to. And I also think representation is so important.
Yes.
Like personally, I grew up with a mom and a dad, then my parents split up, and now my mom is married to a woman. And they were actually the first.
Gay moms.
What if there were no labels? What would that look like?
There would be no community.
Am I reading into this too much? Is this wishful thinking? That woman is fighting for her life to stay straight. No, that goes against everything I believe in. Lord, help me not be biased toward queerness, and please allow me to apply the same beliefs that I hold around queer identity and the right to self-identification. Please let me also apply those to these beautiful straight... Stop it. Stop it. I don't doubt that Marsha is straight and that's how she identifies. I think that's beautiful. Also, a little something in my brain is tickling when she has a lot of questions around what it means for somebody else to identify with queerness. It could be curiosity. It could be a wondering what that might be like for her. We don't know. And she is smart and insightful and thoughtful either way.
I believe traditional gender roles are important.
Interesting question. My instinct is that nobody's gonna step forward and everyone's gonna go, traditional gender roles are not important. Maybe someone will step forward in thinking having roles in relationship is important, and that I would agree with. Contributing in different ways, balancing each other out, important. Are those things gendered? Not in my opinion. Oh, Marsha, oh!
They're
Four of
important
them.
to a degree. You know, if a man were to date a woman and they were to get married, you would expect the man to provide and the woman to, well, stay home or work and just raise the children. If we didn't have those gender norms, then, well, how would the world work?
That is such an interesting way to end that thought, because for some folks who believe in gender norms and like traditional gender roles, that belief is easy because it fits for them. That's initially what I was thinking for Sarah. It's like, okay, these roles make sense for her. But then to end the thought with like, how else could the world function, tells me that it's possible that if other options were shown to her, her thinking might change, right? It might just be a representation issue rather than an identity that she authentically feels is true for her. Maybe.
The reason I said that I agree is because the word role is that word for a reason. A role is a performance. We don't need to naturalize it. We don't need to say women are this one and men are this one, or whatever your body is means your destiny is this. I just think that as social performances and ways of organizing our lives, we're not ever gonna really get rid of the masculine, feminine thing. So I think
Yeah.
acknowledging it so that we can think critically about it is what matters.
And I also think they were kind of touching on this before, which I like. Separating masculine and feminine from man-woman or from gender identity. Masculine and feminine are adjectives. They hold meaning within our language. And those adjectives really, again, in my opinion, should be neutral. They shouldn't be better or worse, more important or less important, for men or for women. They're just adjectives. And each of us is gonna hold different levels of those qualities inside of us, right? Like it's like musical or not, creative or not. Some folks are more creative than others, and that's just a neutral statement. I think being able to neutralize, not naturalize, masculine and feminine in the same way would be helpful, and just see them as qualities that we all can embody and do embody in different levels.
I don't want to do everything. I don't. That's why gender roles are important too. You're designating, this is what you do, this is what I do. I think that's okay.
And nobody's arguing that designating different roles or different jobs or functions to different people in relationship or in society. We're not saying that's a problem. I think the problem is with assigning people these roles simply based on the gender that they were assigned at birth, rather than letting folks self-actualize and find the roles that best suit them. Wouldn't society function so much better if we let people self-actualize into their roles? I'm thinking of like parenting, right? And like the woman stays home and the man goes and works. Wouldn't any child be better off with a parent who loves staying home with them and taking care of them versus a parent who would really rather be out working or like really rather be out in the world, but feels like she has to be at home because of some prescribed norm?
I mean, I don't see why like certain household responsibilities should be defined by gender, especially because like I grew up with two moms, so I never was like, oh, like this is like my mom and my dad. Like this is my mom and my mom.
Two kids with two moms.
Both my parents worked. They like threw my ass in daycare, and it was just like, in a way, I guess I had two dads, if you want to like put it in that way. But like, I think it's like about a balance of like sharing responsibility, you know?
Well, but does saying that the gender roles are important mean that we're saying that they should be employed? Because I'm not saying that they should be forced on anybody. Yeah. It's just whether and how much you want to like take it on.
They should not be forced on everybody. When you were talking about doing the dishes and whatnot, my ex-husband was the person who stayed at home. I was the one who was at work. He was the one that was doing the dishes and cooking.
The world would be a better place without men.
No, definitely not. First of all, like, how are we defining men? What does that mean? The world would be a better place without men. Maybe what they're like hinting at or trying to get at in a, you know, classic Jubilee inflammatory way is like the world would be a better place without toxic masculinity, or the world would be a better place without arbitrary control or abuse. Like, is that what they're getting at? Whew, who's gonna step forward for this one? Oh, the one with two moms, lesbian with two moms. The lesbian with two moms would see no use for men.
Oh, I was just like thinking historically, like men have been the one that have caused wars and created a place where women didn't have the same respect or capacity to be heard and seen.
So this is the world would be a better place without patriarchy. The world would be a better place without sexism. The world would be a better place without misogyny.
Even how we're treated in school by boys, like growing up was always...
If they hurt you, they like you. If they yank on your pigtails.
So I don't think we should like abolish all men, but I do think there needs to be some leveling out.
I think that definitely we're getting there. I feel like because of what men have done in the past, you know, in our history, I feel like that's why they have this superiority over all of the women. But I do think that we are here because of what we've gone through.
All right, and that's that. I want to know where Marsha's at today. I personally want more Marsha. Let's see what's happening in the comments. That lady really said, I like women, but I'm straight, but why label myself? No know exactly. Where is Marsha today? And the bi women in the comments are going, I'm confused. What? Like, this is so fluid. How is this us versus them thing? That's exactly what I was trying to say, is like, fluidity is real and beautiful and wonderful and great, but for a video where the point of the video is to have like two opposing sides, you could have chosen some further apart women. That was interesting. Let me know what you thought in the comments. I'm hoping that next week I'll be back with another episode of Arcane, which, if you don't have access to Arcane in your country, use Surfshark to change your location because it's available here in Canada. Go to surfshark.com/Alayna or use code Alayna at checkout to get 4 extra months. Thank you again, Surfshark, for partnering with me on this video. As always, an extra huge thank you to my VIP patrons, my vitally important producers. You all make my world go round. Follow me on Instagram if you haven't already, because that's where the magic happens. And by magic, I mean I just posted some of my wedding photos. So go over there if you're interested in that. That's it for me today. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Also, don't mind what's happening in the background. This is my office, but it's also our spare room. We have people staying with us right now. Listen, if I don't have time to shower, I definitely don't have time to put the bed away before filming.